right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type1lifting podcast. I have a returning guest for the third time, Mike Poolboy Olivas. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to be back.
You know what? I really almost didn't get you on the podcast again because you just moved over to HWPO and left Misfit and was just like, "Yep, see you later."
No, man, it was dude, trust me, it was like a extremely difficult decision. But financially, and they were super supportive of it. But financially, I'm currently not necessarily in a position financially to fork over the money to continue to do it. And then plus, I kind of saw it as an opportunity to maybe try something different. I've been doing Misfits since 2018, and they've been nothing but supportive, and I couldn't thank them enough for everything they've done for me since I've been part of the Misfit crew. Part of me will always still have them very close to my heart. I mean, I have all my shirts still. I'm not doing anything with those for sure. So much swag from them still. And then plus, honestly, at the time I was at a gym. I'm no longer at that gym, but I was there, and many of the athletes that I had brought in to the gym were HWPO athletes.
Yeah.
Plus one of my closest friends, two-time semifinalist, Rafa Sanson. He is a HWPO athlete, and I periodically will go and train with him. So I figured, you know what? Why not just use this opportunity to try something new? Maybe, I don't want to say I was burnt out. Burnt out's not the word, but I guess kind of similar to the concept of a pro athlete who's been in the same city for a while and maybe just needs a new change of scenery. I guess that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
Why not try something new? I've been doing Misfits since 2018, so yeah, just wanted to try something new.
Yeah. And you said you kind of have a training. Actually did tell me you have a training partner with the guy that was that's doing the HWPO. So is that a better thing for you compared to doing Misfit all by yourself and having someone else like do another program and kind of push both you guys?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a bit, but yeah, every Sunday we would meet up and we would just go through the freaking 40-minute EMOMs at HWPO programs, and those things are awful to do by yourself. So it was definitely better having someone to do it with. And then even when deciding to switch, there was a period where I was slightly leaning towards maybe doing proven, because the gym that I'm currently at, CrossFit Kindred, the owner, it's owned by two lovely females, Savannah Trong and Leonie Solia. And Leonie does proven programming, and there's a small crew at the gym that does it all together. So I almost decided to just jump in with them on it, but I was like, no, I'll still do HWPO. But it's definitely easier to do with people around, even if I'm not necessarily doing the same workouts with them. The fact that I'm with people, and I think a lot of people can relate to this in the gym, where you don't necessarily need someone to be working out with, but there's a group of people there. There's still that energy, that camaraderie. So it's definitely helpful versus last time when I was just by myself most of the time doing Misfit.
Yeah, I totally agree because I would train at like 5 o'clock at like 4:30 in the morning and like 4:35 and like train all by myself. And like sometimes the gym has no music on. And so it's just like
Oh yeah.
it is so bad. And finally, like I have a guy that wanted to start doing Olympic weightlifting. And I was like, yeah, do you want to start doing CrossFit with me? And he's like, well, I suck at it. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Just I don't care. Just like that. Just
Nice.
let me just.
I just want someone to play with.
Yeah, I just need somebody. So somebody there.
Yeah.
So and the good thing with him is he's lost like 60 pounds too, which is insane. And the goal for me is to lift 100 pounds more than he does.
Yeah.
So
That's killer.
yeah. So he 60 pounds, and I think like eight months.
Geez, that's fast.
Yeah, he was cranking. Like I didn't even realize it like when he first started, and then all of a sudden like later on he's like, yeah, I lost like 60 pounds. I'm like, get the hell out of here. He's like, you see him every day, and it's just like you don't notice like the little changes here and there.
Yeah.
but it is what it is. But yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about some CrossFit news. So with the affiliate fees going up, I know you've worked at an affiliate, you're in the CrossFit space. So what is your 2 cents in the $4,500 affiliate fee now?
I honestly, like, so just to kind of put things in perspective here. So I actually work for I've had the pleasure of working for some amazing affiliate owners. I was part of Diablo CrossFit for a few years. Greg Howard to this day is one of the most amazing, helpful affiliate owners that I know. I was very fortunate to actually represent his brand recently at Wadapalooza. Still, and then I also now I'm going to start working, doing like clinics leading up to the open at the gym that I'm at, CrossFit Kindred. But I also work for Matt Souza at a CrossFit Livermore,
Oh,
who
cool.
produces
Yeah.
the Savon podcast. So it's very cool to hear like everyone's perspective on the affiliate raise and stuff. And of course, when it happened, all you hear is just the negative backlash of like, what value does CrossFit bring to us? Blah 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 blah. What are they doing for us? To justify this affiliate raise to, I think it's like 4,500 now or something like
Yeah.
that, or 3,000. The only complaints that I can kind of get back behind are the affiliates that were grandfathered at like the $1,000 a year affiliate fee, or even like some of the ridiculous ones that were like $300 or $500 grandfathered affiliate fees.
Yeah.
I can see their complaint because, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, I think they're just being the next year brought all the way up to that 4,500, whatever it is, which is like a well over 100% increase, right, in their affiliate fee. So I can kind of understand how those people would be upset. But to everyone else, I think the best analogy I heard was actually either from Savon himself or Matt Souza, where they talked about, you own a business, and let's say your garbage man comes to you and says, "Hey, this next coming month, I'm raising the garbage fee." You don't respond back by saying, "Whoa, what do you mean you're raising my fee? What value do you bring to me?" Or like, what more are you going to bring to me for justifying this fee? It's either like, "Hey, either you want me to pick up your garbage or you don't," right? So it's kind of like, I don't necessarily understand what people are looking for when they make that argument. Like, what's CrossFit doing to justify this affiliate raise? I'm kind of in that small minority of group of people where I'm just like, I don't think CrossFit needs to do anything besides build the brand and just not screw things up. At the end of the day, they need more money to justify using resources to bring more value to the brand. And I think if they need more money from the affiliates to help build the brand up, at the end of the day, that's going to put more people into your gyms. If you can ask any affiliate owner, I think, and they'll say, how is it that most people find your gym? I think the majority of them will say it's simply people Googling CrossFit gyms near me, and the fact that they're affiliated, their gym pops up. So I don't really quite understand what people are looking for when they say, what's CrossFit going to do to justify the raise? Now, I will say, if things still kind of go in the direction that they're going or tend to go within the next year and a half, with the affiliate raise being raised, then I can kind of maybe see like, hey, let's wait till that happens before we start, flipping tables and getting angry at HQ. That's kind of like where I view the whole affiliate raise coming from.
Yeah. Well, also you're saying like some of the affiliates they were only paying like $500 to $300 like a year. Shouldn't those affiliates be profitable and not like,
Yeah,
scraping money? So that 4,500 should have been just a flash in the pants for them.
yeah. And what's funny is I'm good friends with also like the owner of CrossFit Hayward, Chris Robertson. I asked him about it, and he said it's super smart businessman. I asked him how he felt, and he just shrugged his shoulders and was like, "Dude, I honestly, I didn't even No, I didn't even look at. I didn't even get the email, or I didn't even notice the email when it came in. And when I just heard it on like some media source, I was just like, whatever, it's nothing to me. Because when you do the math, what's the average membership at a CrossFit gym? 150 to 180 a month.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
roughly.
one. That's one or maybe two new members, and then boom, you just made up for the CrossFit, the fee raise, right?
Hmm.
Just get one to two members to commit to 12 months. That's all. So it's not that big of a deal. And I think it, at the end of the day, personally, in my opinion, I think it'll be good, because the gyms that aren't able to justify the raise, maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe they aren't good for the brand in general. Like those gyms, like having those gyms around, right? If you're not at this point successful enough to justify a $4,500 raise, or was it $1,500 increase in the
Hmm.
raise, then it's probably best for you and best for the CrossFit brand that you don't affiliate, because maybe you're the gym that people go to and they're like, hey, I injured myself doing CrossFit, or I just didn't have a great experience doing CrossFit.
Yeah, true, true. And also they're doing the now coaches have to is it coaches have to have level twos now or the affiliate owners?
Yeah, you have to have someone. I forget the legal technicalities of it. I think someone told me that someone's name doesn't necessarily have to own the gym, but if your name is under the insurance or something, yeah, as long as you have a level 2, you're good. But I mean, I personally think it's fine. Like I think that's a good criteria. I always felt like the level 1 was a little too easy of a barrier to entry in terms of getting your or having the ability to just open a gym. Just take a 2-day course and boom, you could have the keys to an affiliate and just open it right up. I feel like, especially in that situation, most of the time when you're opening up your own gym, like you're the one coaching all the classes, right? You don't quite have the money to hire a helpful staff or anything like that. So I think it's important to at least raise the criteria to have at least a level 2, because I personally enjoyed my level 2 far more than I did my level 1. And I had an amazing level 1 experience. But I'm just such a passionate person in terms of coaching that I enjoyed my level 2 far more. And I learned a lot more. And at least I want to say learned a lot more in terms of how to function and coach a class versus what I did at level 1. Because level 1 is primarily you're just going over the methodology,
Yeah.
some of the diet, some of the nutrition. And sure, you're doing some touch points on coaching and cueing. But when you take your level 2, like it's full on. This is how you run a class in terms of the warm up, how to properly plan to run the class, how to properly cue and just interact with the class in general. And I think that's just a super important uh, certification that people should, or at least more coaches should, strive to go get. Um, because I know it definitely made me a far better coach taking my level 2.
Oh yeah, I completely agree because and also it's that with that level 1, it's like you said, it's a 2-day course and you get the certification. And some people that don't have the personal training or kinesiology experience get that and they can coach, but they don't really know how the movements work or like what stimulus they're trying to hit or anything like that. Compared to like the level 2, you get more of like a understanding how to coach and all that stuff instead of just getting a level 1
Yeah. Do you
and
have your
kind of go
level
from there.
1? Did you? No.
So I had the chance to get it. I was a I have been a personal trainer for, gosh, probably like 12 years before that. And I would get certifications
Mm-hmm.
through like everything. And before I left from Massachusetts to Georgia, I was working out of the CrossFit base down in up in Massachusetts, and I was offered to get a level 1, but it was like a month before me leaving down to Georgia, and
Yeah.
they were gonna pay for half of it, which was
Oh
like
wow.
which was $400 at the since my military discount, it was like $800. I don't know if it's
Mm-hmm.
changed now, but I was like begging them to get it for me to get it before that, like months and before. I'm like, listen, I'll coach the classes. I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm available. I'm just married. I was single and married,
Mhm.
like, I was going to be married, and I'm like, I don't have any kids. I don't have like, I'm good. Just get me in. And then finally it was like last minute, they're like, yeah, you can do it. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to waste your money because I'm going to be gone in like
Yeah.
a heartbeat. So,
Yeah.
and then by the time I got down here, it was, I would love to work at a CrossFit gym. I had a chance to, but the gym closed down too. So
Mm.
it was like, okay. And then there was like no use for me to get it anymore.
Yeah. And at least I asked that because at least when I took my level one, I was a pretty big class. I want to say there was at least like 5 to 8 people there that were just there for the sake of just taking the CrossFit level one. Like they never did CrossFit. They had no background in CrossFit. They just wanted it as another cert to put in their like, portfolio. So it's just like not to say that they would ever do it, but could you imagine like a situation where someone like that just decides like, all right, I'm gonna go open a CrossFit gym
Yeah.
now, right? Without ever having any CrossFit experience other than level one.
Yeah, I've actually there was a couple times I've talked to people at CrossFit gyms when I was doing the open at their gym, saying, "Yeah, I just took my level one just to get it, just to take it,
Mm-hmm.
and just like learn a little bit more." Which I'm perfectly fine. Hey, have at it. But like you have some Joe Schmo that just like literally just got his level one cert and trying to open a gym, and it's just destined for failure, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. But it was crazy because like when all the whole like fees, right, like the fee updates and the level two certs, it was just like everyone was just like losing their mind. It was like crazy. They just like like listening to the comments or watching the Savant podcast and like reading the comments in that, and it's crazy. It was crazy.
Well, what's even crazier to me is like I'm not even an affiliate owner, but I've heard rumors of that rumbling for a while. So it's like it's not you shouldn't have it shouldn't have come to a surprise to most people. Like people have been hearing rumblings of affiliate fees being raised for a while. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why people were so caught off guard by it.
Yeah. And people have to think that they have like venture capitalists that bought CrossFit, and so they're expecting to make money because even Don Fall said last year they just broke even, and so
Oh yeah.
they wanted it to be a profitable business, and this is one of the ways to raise it. So, and everyone's like, oh, this is for all like the new CEO hires and all that stuff, like the money raised for this, and I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah, no, because they're not even making money.
Yeah, I mean, they did the massive layoffs, like was it beginning of last year?
Yep.
So, I
Yeah, I
mean,
think there was there's a 30% or something like that, 20% of them were all laid off or something like that.
yeah, but
Crazy.
yeah, it was, yeah, it's weird times. But do you think that do you think what do you think would help promote CrossFit even more to, get a bigger audience? Because Don Fall said he wanted like 30,000 people to to join CrossFit. So what would you think as a trainer, as a coach, sorry, what would help, bring all these people in to join CrossFit?
Dude, their media team needs to be fired, man. I'm so like gung ho about this. Their media is awful. If they even have a media team, right? It could be just one person or two ding dongs, but it's just garbage. It's just absolute garbage. Like I don't know if you like looked back to how the CrossFit Instagram page looked like back in the day when like Savon worked for them and all that stuff. They used to bust out some amazing content, like commercials and all that stuff. And you don't see any of that anymore. And it's like now what I see on the CrossFit Instagram are just like sometimes like stupid memes. Like why am I seeing memes on the CrossFit Games like page? Like I don't go and follow that account or something as silly and stupid as that. Like that's not, I just don't do that as something that's going to bring people into gyms. And just it's kind of mind-blowing to me the lack of support the CrossFit marketing and media page gives to like outside events. Like I just finished watching one of the Savant podcasts, and I forget what brought it up, but they were talking about the tier Wadapalooza, and Savon starts noticing that there's only like 3 or 4 posts on the CrossFit Games page, like from Wadapalooza, and those posts in nowhere really talk about Wadapalooza as the event, and they don't even tag. Like they're literally taking media sources and media photos from the event, and they're
Yeah.
not tagging Wadapalooza. Like they're not at least giving them credit and giving them love and showing support to this outside event. And the saddest part about it is the gentleman who runs Tier Wadapalooza, Dylan, is running runs Loud and Live Sports is what broadcasts or puts on
Yeah.
the Wadapalooza. They're also doing a semi-final event for CrossFit. So you would think if there's any outside event that would get like love and support from CrossFit, it would be the Wadapalooza, but it's like nothing. And it's just their marketing and their media department is just awful. It's just terrible. And I think at the height of the popularity of what CrossFit was back in like 2018, 2017, their media department was killing it. They had the
Yeah.
behind the scenes, with the CrossFit Games and all that real cool stuff. And I think if CrossFit really wants to grow the brand and get people in the gyms, into the affiliates, that's where they have to start. They gotta market these, outside sources that are like bringing their brand alive. Like there's too much of this. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but take Savon for example. Sure, Savon's pretty critical of CrossFit a lot of the times,
Oh yeah.
but it comes from a good place. Like criticism is how you grow, right? If you didn't ever get critiqued for anything or take criticism and learn from it and grow from it, like you wouldn't ever become a stronger person, a stronger company, a stronger brand, or whatever. And as much as he criticizes the brand, he also supports the brand like no other. He went out of his way to do the behind the scenes for them this year. And not to mention, he's also promoting the hell out of the open for them. He's encouraging like hell to get people to go take their level 1. And what's CrossFit doing to help kind of support him? They're not really doing much, right? And I feel like there's a lot of these outside media sources, such as like Be Friendly Fitness, Brian Friend, amazing guy, who's doing all this kind of just marketing for the brand on his
Yep.
own, talking about all these outside of events and stuff. And there's no love for Brian Friend, coming from the CrossFit space, and even someone like Hiller, right? Like as much as like Hiller just dog shits on CrossFit, he does a lot of good for the sport too. He keeps them accountable, and it's like it's almost like they're going out of their way to not associate with these people, and it only hurts. It only hurts the brand. It only hurts them. Like dude,
Yep.
lean on these outside sources. Like so that's basically a long story in a nutshell. Like their media team is just fucking awful, man. And I think that's where they need to start.
Yeah. I mean, technically, like I think CrossFit has an absolute juggernaut for media on the outside because you have like obviously like Savan, like the number, like pretty much the biggest CrossFit, podcast and like almost YouTube channel pretty much. Then you got like Talk Elite Fitness, and then you have like, Wexfield Podcast, Coffee Pods and Wads, Clydesdale, like me, and what there was another other one. There's a whole bunch of like outlets out there. Hiller and CF Media. That's another one that's like from like the European side. And
Yep.
if they should like obviously it should be like a you scratch my back, I scratch yours, because we're interviewing these athletes. We're interviewing, success stories. We're interviewing people that are, we think that are interesting, brands that are, like Hero Barbell, brands that are, in the CrossFit space and looking to grow the CrossFit. So at least like, like you should put like at least one of us into this into like Instagram or like or anything else, just to, you know, say, hey, here's another guy's promoting the brand, and this is who he's interviewing, or, you know, just kind of do that, I think. But the
Yeah,
problem,
and just to put just to put it in perspective, I don't know if you've ever like just go on YouTube and type in CrossFit games, right? The first, I don't even know if they make it on the first page, but the CrossFit games like YouTube channel itself probably doesn't even pop up for you on the first page of searches. It's all these other outside sources, and that's just how bad CrossFit's marketing and media team is. They're just terrible.
yeah.
It's
Do you
terrible when you Google search YouTube or YouTube search CrossFit and your own and the brand's own channel isn't like the first to come up. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So do you think the reason why they're not like pushing with Savant or anything like that, from like the other topics that he talks about, think people think that he's like kind of, you know,
Oh,
out
for
there?
sure. Yeah. I mean, they have this idea that he's controversial. I don't think he's controversial at all. You know, like he's just people just refuse to understand.
I
That makes
I
sense.
I think he just wants to learn and understand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he's one of the most open-minded people I've ever met, and personally, I've had the honor of meeting him. I met him at the NorCal Classic for the first time, and then I got to team up with him and work out with him at CrossFit Livermore's 10-year anniversary party, and the dude
How was that?
oh, dude, it was a blast, man. That dude freaking he's super awesome. He he comes in actually not even intending to do the workout. And Albert, the one of the head coaches there, he was like, "Hey, just go through the warm up and see how you feel." And then Savon was like, "Hey, let's do the workout together." And we ended up doing it together. He ended up like really fucking up his back, but he had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
But so now you just came back from Wadapalooza,
sure did.
and so I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. So I've told this in another
Dude,
podcast.
you're close. You're closer there than I am.
10 hours away driving.
Jeez.
So not far. So, but my wife was telling me when we were going, where were we going? I think we were going out to like dinner or something like that. This was like after Christmas. She's like, you know, I don't know if I should tell you this. And I'm like, what? And she's
I'm
like,
pregnant.
no, no. That's not happening. So she said, I almost bought you tickets for Wadapalooza in a hotel room for Christmas. And I
Damn.
was like,
Why did she shouldn't have? She shouldn't have told you that.
well, here's the thing. So the dates that Wadapalooza was going on, we were actually, she booked a trip to Disney with the family.
Okay.
So and it's like, you know, I it, it's all for the kids. But
Yep.
if you want to see some people watching, like that place is so interesting.
Oh, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was I went to Disneyland like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and that was
Yeah.
my first immediate thought. I'm like, dude, the people here are wild. Like it's just the type of people you see there, just wheelchairs and scooters all over, just obese people, like just sick and unhealthy looking individuals, man. It's ridiculous.
So like when we were there were so many big people, and like it almost felt like, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything like that, but I'm pretty fit, you know, I'm pretty big. It's like I felt like I was like an anomaly at the resorts, at the resort and Disneyland or any other parks I went to that was part of Disney, because like
Yep.
like you said, everyone's morbidly obese. Like even the food there is like, if you're looking for a healthy option, it's almost non-existent. There is just crap everywhere. Like it's you know, I'm probably not going to get a job at Disney anyway, but like seriously, like it is insane. Like there was a dude sitting, so we were staying in the Polynesian, which is like you could see Magic Kingdom from the other side of the lake and see the
Mm-hmm.
fireworks and everything. So it was like mainly a Hawaiian theme, like Lilo and Stitch or Moana kind of theme. And so
Yeah.
they had breakfast there, and first of all, the eggs were not real eggs. They were like the powdered eggs bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, it was just disgusting. Like it was just not good. But the last day we were there, this morbidly obese dude was sitting right in the next table over. And so I ordered like the French toast because I had food poisoning later on, like the day before. And so
Hmm.
and so he ordered eggs, bacon, sausage, and there was like something else in a biscuit. And also he had this big like Hawaiian French toast, which is like literally like this thick, and it's like a big fucking cube.
Nice.
You just eat it, and I'm like, this dude's gonna polish this off in no time. And lo and behold, he just ate everything. And I'm like,
Nice.
how do you not feel gross?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in the boat where like, hey, if you are going to Disneyland, like, dude, enjoy it, eat whatever the fuck you want. But I feel like a lot of those people are routine visitors. Routine visitors, or they're the type of people also that just they go home and they eat the same way.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
like
like when I went to Disneyland, I think I'm trying to remember. I think I maybe had a churro or maybe had an ice cream cone or something like that. Oh, actually, I did. Yeah. So I went to I think with the first day there, we walked through downtown Disney. We went to this crazy like burger joint, but this burger joint also shared like it was connected to like one of like this wild milkshake place. The burger was phenomenal, but it was like then they had these just extravagant milkshakes that was just like the cup was a giant cookie or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure I had one of those, but then like that was it. Like, and then the rest of the like 2 days I was there, you're walking freaking like 8 miles a day practically, right?
yep.
To the parks. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that was the only bad thing I ate.
Yeah, it was yeah, like even the sausage links that they had were they just didn't taste right. They didn't taste like
Mm.
real sausage links. And it was just like
Yeah.
yeah, and then but like and they douse everything with like sauces and all that
Yeah.
shit. And it was like we went to an all you can eat buffet for dinner. It was like a family style buffet. And so they had steak, they had chicken, they had like a whole bunch of fried food and stuff. And so I went for the steak and they put like some crazy sauce on it. And it was like you could definitely taste like there's a lot of sugar in this sauce, just the way you could
Yeah.
taste it. And it's just like, is there like anything in Disney that is not laced with sugar? Anything. So
Doubtful. I mean, when I was there, I guess we were lucky. We just found a decent spot, but we did find like a chicken and rice kind of like place in the man. It was like in the area of the park where the Jungle Cruise is,
oh
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, 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 yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. I
that
know exactly what
yeah
that is. Yeah.
that the ride where they made the movie of or something like
Yep.
that. Yeah, there was some like pretty decently good like chicken rice spot in there. But yeah, literally that was like the one spot we went to like constantly when we wanted food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so also the people, like I said earlier, it's like crazy because you'll see people with like I mean, they do it with Star Wars too, but like full sleeve of like
Yep.
Disney like characters, or like there was one girl, we went to Epcot and they had like she had like all the Disney villains on her left arm. And I'm
I
like,
thought I thought they had a rule where like you had to cover up your tattoos or something. Or was that
no,
only for the workers?
I think it's only for the workers.
Oh, I thought I heard some crazy rule where like if you had tattoos, they had to be like covered up or something.
No,
But
yeah, I believe it's the workers because there's people like with like full body tattoo like all over, just walking around. So, but it was crazy. Like we also went to Hollywood Studios. We went on the Millennium Falcon ride.
hmm.
And so my son and I were driving, and all of a sudden halfway into the ride, the computer froze. And so
Oh shit.
all of a sudden, like we're like in the Millennium Falcon, then it just starts like going down. But my daughter's in the back; she's like a gunner. That's what they called it. So she was constantly, and she's 5, so she's constantly pressing this button and shooting while
Yeah.
we're not even moving. And so I'm like, Cindy, you could stop now. And then, like she just kept on doing it. And like, and then when we were getting out, the lady had no clue that the computer froze.
Oh wow.
And I was like, shit, we're doing so good too, so
Is
good.
that the one that's in Star Wars Land?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went on that one. That one was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the Rise of the Resistance one we were trying to get on, so but there was like a 2.5 hour wait just to get in
Dude,
there.
that ride is wild.
Yes, yeah,
It's so cool. It's
yeah.
so cool.
Well, it was closed down for like the first half of the day because it was something was broken on it.
Yeah, see, when I went on it, the same thing. Is we got all the way through the line. I don't know if you know the concept of the ride, but you'll get into your little like ship
Yep.
and it kind of like takes off, right? You're looking at a screen. And then when you get into space, you end up getting in the midst of a battle and you're trying to avoid it. And then your like spaceship gets tractor beamed up into the rebellion, or not the rebellion, the
The
what are they
Empire.
called?
The
The
Empire.
Empire. There you go, the Empire, right? So they beam you into the ship, and it's crazy. This whole time that's happening, I guess your actual ship is like just simply like flip, like rotating,
Hmm.
because by the time you're on the ship and the doors open again, you're on the freaking like the bad guys space crew, and you just see this wall of like stormtroopers just standing there, and they like and then like the workers are dressed as like the the bad guys,
Yeah, yeah.
and they'll like they interrogate you. They like have you line up, and one by one you go into these rooms where Kylo Ren, right, the bad guy, Kylo
Yep.
Ren comes in as like a hologram, and he's like interrogating you. We got to that point, and it just like shut down.
Oh,
It just like shut down. So luckily it reopened up like like a couple hours later, and we were able to skip the line and go through it again. But it's an incredible interactive ride. It's wild.
yeah, that was, and then you're like in these little carts that you're just like driving all over the place, and then all of a sudden, like you get in the escape pod, and I don't know how they do it, but the drop, like literally your stomach just goes right up to your throat
Yeah,
after that drop. So, but yeah, that's definitely an awesome ride. Love that ride.
it's dope.
Yeah, but anyway, back to Wadapalooza. So, um, so you went as a team instead of
Yeah.
going individual. So and then and also I was looking at your stories. You went there like a couple days before your event was even starting, right?
Well, yeah, I always like to get there. I guess we did technically get there a couple days before. Yeah, I always like to get there like at least 2 days before. Not that not that I have to get like acclimated to anything or anything like that, but I'm not, being in California, contrary to belief, people think it's humid here in California. The first couple times I've heard that, it was like, no, it's not. I just wanted to get a little like used to, or like acclimated to like the thicker air. Because it is definitely, at least for me, it seems a little harder to breathe. Plus, I had uh flashback to Orlando when I was at semis. I had a big scare the day before semis because it's so humid. Like it just sucks moisture out of me so much quicker, and like I ended up pulling my muscle. I ended up pulling my pec the day before semis.
Oh,
So
jeez.
I wanted to avoid something like that this time around at Wadapalooza. Just getting there a little earlier, get my body kind of acclimated to the Florida weather a little bit. And then plus, I kind of wanted to take advantage of like my girlfriend was there with me too, and we just kind of wanted to like enjoy like the first night there. And then Thursday we check in, but we don't compete yet. And I just wanted to use that time to kind of like check out the vendors, get all my shopping done, out of the way before Friday, Saturday, Sunday go time.
Yeah. So, when you were at the vendor village, like who was the one person or people that you were like really excited to see for like the first time?
Man, that's tough. Because there's a lot of people that I just was really excited to see that I only know through like Instagram or
Hmm.
YouTube. Like a lot of the quote Sevonistas. Like we have a little group chat with all the Sevon watchers. I was hoping that they would be at Miami, but I don't think the majority of them ended up going. But of course, like I met Brian Friend back in Orlando at semis, so I was really hoping to run into him again. And then I got to meet Brian Spin of Barbell Spin,
Hmm.
so that was really cool. That was really cool to kind of finally meet him and interact with him a bit. And then plus, like, I wanted to meet face to face with some of the, like, some of my quote like sponsors. Like I'm a NorCal athlete
Hmm.
uh NOCO USA, the, you know, the drink. So I got to meet the guy who's head of like contracting their athletes in all over the states. His name's Mickey, something like that. I'm butchering it. So it was really cool to kind of see him. And then plus, like, now, like, I'm a Swolverine athlete, so it was really cool to see Alex Best, one of the owners of Swolverine, and it was the first time that I got to meet Walter, the other owner of Swolverine. So it was just really cool to like finally meet, you know, a lot of these, like, the owners of like these companies that I work with and stuff. So that was super dope.
Yeah. So what was it like seeing Travis from Vindicate?
Oh yeah, that was cool. Meeting Travis too. Yeah, that was dope, man. I walked by his booth and well, actually, he came up to me first. Yeah, he came up to me because he saw me wearing Savon's jersey, and yeah, he's a super cool dude. He's been super supportive of me as well, um, giving me like a few little like care packages of like CEO shirts and stuff. And I, as a half joke, half like serious, I got me and my girlfriend matching CEO jerseys
Yep.
from Vindicate
Yeah.
for Christmas, and he was super supportive about it because I was like low key getting worried that they weren't going to come in time, and he was like reassuring me that no, the jerseys take a little longer to make, but I'll make sure they get there in time for Christmas, and he was spot on. They got there in time, so if
Nice.
you ever need to make any shirt orders, head over to Vindicate. And plus, he's also doing a super cool thing for the affiliates. Here's another example of like, I mean, maybe CrossFit doesn't quite know about it, but another example of like what CrossFit can do to help support these other companies. But Vindicate is doing like open T-shirts for affiliates.
Yeah, I saw
So like
that. Yeah.
he's got all these templates and designs of like open shirts. You can kind of go through them, see like, ooh, I like this logo. I want to put it on these colored shirts, and he'll put your gym's name on there, everything. So that's super cool. So if you're an affiliate owner out there listening to this, go check out those shirts from Vindicate and get hooked up.
Yeah.
Make it
Awesome.
easy on yourself. He'll make the open shirts for you.
Yeah. So what was this your first time being there?
No, this is my second time. So
Okay.
so I didn't go last year, but I went the year prior
Oh, gotcha.
with on a team of three. My buddy Albert Castro and Keanu Redongo. We were in the team of three RX, but didn't quite get the full experience of it because one, on our swim event, they ended up canceling it like right in the middle of the event. So I don't remember the event entirely, but we had to all start on the assault rower, and we rode like X amount of meters on the
Yep, I
assault
remember
rower.
that. Yeah.
And we're supposed to run down to the bank, jump into the water, swim across to the other stage, and run X amount of meters on these two assault runners. Well, we went through the row, and we run down to the bank, and I see everyone's been stopped, and I still see the heat before us is they haven't even gone into the water yet. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense because how the hell are we all going to get on the treadmills? But they stopped all of us because they thought some girl drowned in the water
I remember that. Yep.
from
I
one
do
of the
remember that.
previous. I think it was like an intermediate team of three women. They thought she like drowned and died because I guess she never checked in or something like that. They like, I guess from what I had heard, her two other teammates ended up finishing the whole event. Like they finished the run on their own. Like both of them finished it, and they crossed the finish line, and they immediately went to a judge and goes, "Where's our third teammate?" Because they were just wondering the whole time, like, where the hell is she? And so that immediately rang the panic alarm. So they ended up like searching. There was like fire boats out there. The sheriff was out there. The cops were out there. But it turns out like she just never went in the water, or she just like freaked out and
Yeah,
panicked and just
that's
went
what I heard. I heard she like
and
went
just never checked in with anyone.
yeah, right when she was going in the water, I think she said like forget this, like and just like
Yeah.
never went in and just said whatever, I'm done.
So like in that moment, I was legit worried. I was like, dang, I really hope this person's like okay. Like,
Yeah,
I don't, and
of
plus
course.
that's the worst thing, especially as like an organization. It's like Wadapalooza. Like, you don't want that in freaking news. Like, girl drowns at your event. So once I found out that she was just scared and just never went in, I was pissed. I was pissed because I was so excited for that swim. I've been training hard for it and all that. So that, and then plus on the last day there was the lightning delay, so a lot of events got canceled, so we didn't quite get the full or at least I didn't get quite the full Wadapalooza experience that year. So it took a year off last year, and then a buddy of mine, Isaac Encinitas from CrossFit 916 in Sacramento here, he hit me up and was like, hey, you'd be down to put a team together and try to go to Wadapalooza. So and I was like, yeah, sure. So it was just me, him, and then our boy Jackson Miller out of Diablo CrossFit. We ended up qualifying, and it was a great time. We got to go through all the events, got to do the swim. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What was the atmosphere like there? Because obviously, like I said before, I've never been there. So, what do you see when you like walk in, you like sign in, and then like you just start your competition, or even like walking around Vendor Village? Like,
It
what's the scene like feel like to you?
it definitely has a vibe to it, like a definite party vibe to it. It's more like a fitness festival than an actual like CrossFit event.
Yep.
It's so much fun. There's so much stuff there to do, like in the event itself. Like, you can, as a spectator, sign up for the gauntlet and all that. And the stages are they're very intimate stages. So they're you're pretty like much close to the floor, no matter what stage you're on. It's just so much fun, and then plus the city of Miami itself is a freaking party town with just amazing restaurants and food. So it's so much fun. I guess, I mean, compared to the games, I've only ever been to the games in Carson, so I can't really compare it to like Madison, or obviously no one's been to the Dickies Arena where it's going to be this year. I still personally think the games is the games. Like, that's like the pinnacle of interaction and fun. But in terms of like a more intimate atmosphere of just party vibes and just fun, it's a blast, man. It's a blast, which is why I'm super curious how it's going to transition if they're able to capture that same energy and vibe and bring it to the Huntington Beach one, because it's going to go to SoCal in September, which I'm going to try. I'm going to definitely try to do that one for sure, because I'm super curious. I want to see if they can capture that same vibe in Miami and take it over to SoCal. Because if they're able to do that, I feel like it's going to be even more successful than Miami,
Mhm.
because the weather, the only downfall about it being in Miami is the weather is so unpredictable. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
it still rained pretty hard, like on two of the 4 days that I was there. So it just wasn't like quite as fun, right? You want the sun to be out, you know. Dude, it doesn't rain here in California really ever. So I'd be, especially in that time, like September, like, dude, it's gonna be clear sky, beautiful blue. So if they can carry that Miami fun over to Huntington Beach, like, I think it'll be more successful than the Miami one.
Yeah. I I saw flights there from Georgia, from Atlanta to that area, and they're pretty cheap
Which
from
area, Miami or SoCal?
SoCal.
Oh, dude, you got to go, man.
So,
You
and
ever
I'm
been to
like,
California?
yeah, I've been to San Francisco, because I was when I was in the Air
That's
Force.
disgusting.
Yeah, it was not the greatest, but when when I was in the Air Force, we had to do like a 2-week annual tour at one of the bases for the reserves that I was in. And so one of the options
Mm-hmm.
was like San Francisco, and I was like, screw it, I've never been to California, so
Yeah.
might as well check it out. And so this was like, gosh, this had to be like 9 years ago, so it's not as bad. It wasn't as bad as it is now. So,
Yeah.
but like you still see like a bunch of homeless people, and like, people
Mm-hmm.
people taking craps in the middle of the street and whatever. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it
Oh
was
yeah.
it was and that was the only time I've been to California.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely should try to go to the Huntington Beach one. I mean, Huntington Beach is like I hate LA, like that LA area. It's a lot like San Francisco, just gross and dirty. Um, but Huntington Beach is like the exception. Like, it's so nice there. It's so clean-esque, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. So how far is it away from where you live?
I'll still probably fly in. Huntington Beach is probably like a 7 hour, 8 hour drive, 7, 8 hours, something like that.
All right. All right.
I don't know. Maybe I will drive, because it is a pain to like rent a car and stuff and Uber everywhere. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what was your expectations of going into Wadapalooza with your team?
We definitely exceeded expectations big time. Not to say we barely qualified, but we were like on the top, like, or the lower tier of it. I want to say, like, I forget the numbers, but like 1 through 20 made elite, right? And then like 21 through 40 made RX or something like that. And we finished with a comfortable cushion, but we were like maybe 10 spots or 12 spots ahead of the cut line
Mhm.
before dropping down to intermediate. And we ended up almost finishing top 10 at the event itself. So
Nice.
we did super well. The events worked towards our strengths, like me, Isaac, and myself were more the gymnastic heavy guys, and Jackson is he's a 6'3" athlete, like collegiate national swimmer. And so anything like there was a sandbag event that he just helped carry the team with. Obviously there was an echo bike event that he just destroyed for us, and the swim was just a walk in the park for him. So I think the event all worked very well for us. Actually, I think what ended up happening, because we were going into the final event, we were 11th, so we were really hoping to break that top 10. But it rained pretty hard that last day, so they had to change the event slightly. It was like worm Fran, right? It was like thrusters with the worm, and then plus each athlete had to go through a complex of like pull up, chest to bar, and bar muscle ups, right? Being something I was like super excited for. But because it rained, and obviously for safety concerns, they had to change the event slightly. So they changed it to strict pull ups. So it's like it kind of took our advantage away a little bit, because even if you're a bigger dude, anybody there's no skill involved in a strict pull up, right? Like
No.
you can do them, you can do them. So that one kind of ended up taking us out a little bit. So we ended up dropping to 16th, which we were still pretty stoked on. 16th out of 40 super competitive teams. So yeah, we definitely exceeded expectations. It was a good time.
Yeah. So did you guys work on the worm before you got there at all?
Yeah. So what's really cool is I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the Bay Area, but like, for example, Isaac and I, him being in Sacramento, me being in San Jose, we're about like 2 hours apart, and that's without traffic. Add traffic, it's ridiculous. Jackson is out of Diablo CrossFit, which is in Pleasant Hill. He's the middle point for us. So like every Saturday we would just meet at Jackson's gym in Diablo CrossFit, and then so it was like 50 minutes for me, 50 minutes for Isaac, no big deal. And then plus we didn't mind making the trip. If you're familiar with Diablo CrossFit and just how incredible of a gym and brand that is, it's a 12,000 foot square gym, and it's
Jeez.
just like they just have a history of just games accolations and sending teams to the games, and left right, all this stuff. So they have a gym like that has every toy in the book that any CrossFitter would love to play with. So they have a 4-person worm at the gym. So we played with the worm a little bit, even though the one we used at Wadapalooza was a 3-person worm. It still helped a lot to use that. They have like literally every sandbag you can think of. So we got to train pretty well, go through the events pretty similar to how they would have been ran on the floor. So yeah, we got to work together pretty decent. And then plus with Jackson being the high level swimmer he was, we went to the pool 2 times, and he was able to like help Isaac and I with our swimming a little bit. So super helpful.
Yeah. I used to do triathlons, and so swimming for me was kind of, since I'm 6'6", it was kind of helpful. But like
Yeah.
when I get the problem is with me, like I swim really good by myself, but if I get like people surrounding me, I always like freak out, and so I like kind of have to like pop my head out and like almost do like a doggy paddle, but like
Yeah.
do like the normal strokes, but like just have to keep my head up the whole time just to see where I am.
I know exactly what you mean, because I get worried that I'm going to run into something.
Yeah, because there's been times there was one triathlon I did. I went for a stroke, or I was swimming, and then the dude behind me came up and hit me right by the back of my back of my back. And
Mhm.
so, and I was just like, what, like, I was like freaking out. I'm like, is this guy like is he's like drowning or something like that? And I turn around, and he's just like, looks at me,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, my bad, bro. And just keeps on going. And I'm like, motherfucker, you just like ruined it for me.
Yeah, and then what? Yeah, swimming is tough. Where like once you're like knocked off rhythm, it's so hard to get back in the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like you just, that's almost like chest to bars too. Cause like you gotta, if you're in the flow and you're going and then all of a sudden like something happens, you gotta like, it's
Yeah.
hard to kind of get it back, or like even toes to bar too.
Yep.
So are you looking to bring the team if you go to Huntington to bring the same group?
I mean, I'm open to it. I mean, we haven't talked about it at all, but I mean, I'm open to it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well,
But you know,
you
a
got
lot
till
change.
September. So
Yeah, a lot changes from now and then. You know, even like even after semis, we all talked about running it back, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen.
yeah. Yeah. So, the open's coming up really soon.
Hmm.
So what are your obviously you're going to be doing the open. So what is your
Yeah.
expectations of the open for you?
Oh man, dude, I have no idea. I'm really trying to like see if I can put a team together in time for the open. I mean, we have two capable females at the gym that I'm at. You know, nowhere near the level that you know Lindsay and Danielle were
Hmm.
are from my team last year, but they're still both capable females. You know, like we would make quarterfinals for sure. Whether we would make it out of it, I don't know. But you know, no disrespect to the West teams here, but they are kind of garbage. All the teams here on the West compared to the East, it's a lot more easier to compete and qualify out of the West. So there is that chance, but we just don't have a second male at my gym. I'm kind of it. So if I could find someone, that would be really awesome. Otherwise, you know, just enjoy the experience of it. You know, the open, I think, because of the new changes, has made it even more irrelevant for someone like myself because now they take the top 25% into quarterfinals. So it's just like just get through the open, enjoy the experience, enjoy the you know enjoy it with you know my communities. Especially if I'm not on a team, I'm hoping to maybe do one one of the open workouts over at CrossFit Livermore. You know, and get to experience with that community, and then do the ones that I can with my community over at Kindred. So if I do have to go the individual route, you know, just enjoy the experience of the open. You know, I love it. It's one of my favorite times of the year. And then, you know, just pray that I get some decently good workouts for the quarterfinals. There's always like the first two are always kind of in my wheelhouse. And I'm always like in a qualifying spot after the first two or sniffing a qualifying spot. But then like a max lift comes and it just takes me out immediately.
Yeah. Have you I was maybe you should I mean since you know Savon pretty well, so maybe you should run this by him. So why don't you do the open workout on his podcast?
I mean, that would be fun. He did say something about like wanting to fly an athlete out to do it against Taylor Self on the podcast, which I'd be 100% down to do. But I think he's trying to get more like the Jason Hoppers and Dallin Peppers to go and do it. But I would be open to doing to since you know he's only like 40 minutes for me, maybe even less. I would be 100% open to because I know he's doing the open this year, but he's doing them all out of his garage. I would be down to go and drive over to his house and do one of the workouts with him in his garage and like film it for the podcast or something. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. He's got to get you on the podcast. He always like reads your comments all the time.
I'm not relevant enough for him. I'm
Oh,
not
come
high
on.
level
Get out
high
of
level
here.
enough.
Get out of here.
But I'm pretty stoked. I was able to get my boy Rafa on his podcast. He'll be on there on Monday, actually. On Monday.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you want
Yeah,
to learn more about him, tune in.
very cool. Very cool. So we're getting close to the end. So obviously you're trying to make it to semifinals. You're open to everything. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you got a lady now.
I do. I do. I'm hitched up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So when did
su-
that happen? I forgot to ask that.
super, super recent, man. Like, we kind of joke around and we're still trying to figure out how it happened actually. So,
Well, let me guess. Let me guess.
uh-huh.
All right, you had your shirt off in the CrossFit gym. You were doing bicep curls, and then like she came like walking through the door with her gym bag, like not even warmed up or anything, and she turns over to you, and you guys make eye contact, and you give her the wink, and that was like game over.
Dude, I wish that was the story because that would mean that she lived here. She actually doesn't live here. She doesn't live
Oh,
by me. Yeah, so she's in the Marines.
okay.
So yeah, hoorah. So she is based and stationed down in San Diego. So how we connected was kind of at the NorCal Classic. We never met. Like I never saw her at the NorCal Classic. She was there competing in the elite division, elite pairs division. So it was her and her partner Lauren, who I'm friends with. And I remember seeing Lauren and saying hi to her, but I just never saw her name's Julia. Never saw Julia there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think she saw me there either. So flash forward after the NorCal Classic, I think she says that she just saw me reposted somewhere, reposted on the Instagram page of NorCal maybe or something, but she started following me, and I didn't really notice for a while until I forget how she got my attention, but I think she just like commented on one of my stories or something, right? So then that was when I was like, "Oh, who's this girl?" So I looked at her and I looked through her page, and I'm like, "Hey, this girl's pretty hot, pretty fit." So then I follow her back, and then we just kind of start chit chatting from there, and we just kind of clicked. And I want to say we ended up FaceTiming once, and then she brought up the idea of flying out to meet me during Veterans Weekend because she gets like a 4-day weekend or something like that.
Yep.
And dude, so she ended up flying, never actually officially meeting me. And then yeah, that was our first weekend together. And she came back for Thanksgiving, and she came back for Christmas, and yeah, she came to Miami with me, and so yeah, now we're hitting it off,
Nice.
doing
Very cool.
the long distance thing.
Yeah. How hard is that for you?
So far, it's not that difficult. I mean, we've been seeing each other fairly often. Like, she's going to be coming back to see me in like beginning of February, and then plus like with work and just me just being buried in the gym, it helps keep my mind occupied. Right? So I'm always like busy. I'm always doing something. But we'll see. It'll definitely get more difficult. She's in the Marines. At any point she could end up going somewhere, right?
Yep. Getting
Farther,
deployed.
and
Yeah.
at that point, it's like, okay, I gotta maybe think about, hey, do I follow her with her? If she gets deployed somewhere else, we've talked about that and discussed it, and we'll get our first hurdle of the relationship's coming up already. She's going to be going to Australia for 6 months, so she'll be stationed in Australia for six
Oh,
months.
that's sick.
Yeah, in like mid. Yeah, I mean, she was super nervous about telling me. She was getting like teary eyed and like wondering how I would react to it. But like my first reaction was like, dude, that's dope. Like to be in Australia
Yeah.
for 6 months. That's such a cool place to go to. And then plus, like in my head, I'm like, 6 months isn't that crazy. Like if she would have told me like for a year, 2 years, then that would have been a different story. But yeah, I was like, no, this is going to be a cool experience for her. I'm really excited. She's never been to Australia. Plus, like I've always wanted to go to Australia, so she told me that she would like help fly me out over there and stuff. So I think I might be a little more excited about it than she is.
Yeah, I
Because
would.
I'm like,
That definitely be me.
yeah,
So
yeah, because I'd be like, fuck, that'd be, it's going to be an incredible, trip when I go out there sometime in July, and we'll spend a week in, I think, Sydney. She'll be stationed in Darwin, Australia, but we plan on spending a week together in Sydney. So that'll be pretty fun. Pretty
get
excited.
get ready. That I mean, you think California's expensive? Like Australia is really expensive, especially Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
What's their currency? Do they use dingoes? Is that what it is?
Uh, I don't remember the currency rate, but I know it's like Sydney's very hard to, like the housing market there is like super high. super
Yeah,
high.
so I got to worry about that. Military pays for all that, so
Well, true,
no
true.
biggie.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like going out to dinner, like or food wise, just maybe be prepared.
All right, I'll start saving up Foster's beer cans. And, I'll trade those in. Maybe that's what they use. Foster's.
Yeah, they're probably like you probably ask them that, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up, just get out of
Do
here."
they have Outback Steakhouses over there?
No, they may serve kangaroo there.
Oh shit! All right, I'm excited to try some kangaroo then.
I've had that. It's really good.
Yeah, nice.
It's definitely
Is
really
it
good.
really?
Yeah, yeah. My buddies and I went on a snowboarding trip in Switzerland back when I was like my early
Mm-hmm.
20s. And so we went to this steakhouse and they had ostrich, kangaroo, like bison, like all these different kind of meats, alligator, like all that stuff. And so I was like, screw it, I'll just try kangaroo. My buddy tried
Yeah.
ostrich, and we kind of just like split the steaks in half, and like we both like kind of shared it. And yeah, it was really good.
Interesting. It wasn't. I feel like it would be tough because of the muscle. Like they're so muscle.
Nope,
That was good.
no, it was really good for some reason, and it almost looks like a steak.
Interesting.
So food for thought.
All right.
So yeah.
I'm excited to try some kangaroo then.
Yeah. So all right, now we're officially getting close to the end. So do you have, since it's the 2024 year, what are your goals for the rest of the year?
Oh man, goals for the rest of the year. Well, right now, believe it or not, I actually work. So besides my coaching gigs, I actually work primarily in full time at an F45 at an F45 studio. So it's a very cool experience. Getting outside of kind of the CrossFit world and experiencing what running a studio like an F45 is like, and kind of getting that perspective and stuff. So I definitely want to continue my growth in that kind of space and realm. The community there is awesome. They're amazing people. The owner, Amy, she's been super supportive of my CrossFit journey, and I think one of the biggest worries that I had is my love for CrossFit going to conflict with the brand of F45, and she's been nothing but supportive of my journey in CrossFit, especially when I was in Miami. Like, holy shit, the whole gym was far more supportive than I thought. I was getting like videos and messages from members, so just
That's
super
awesome.
cool to have
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so I definitely want to continue my growth there at that studio, kind of help that gym just build up as we go, and definitely help. A lot of part of the 2024 leading into it, we had a lot of our members write down their resolutions in terms of like what they want to accomplish in the gym physically and stuff. So for example, we had like a good amount of people like want to get their first pull up or get like 5 or more unassisted pull-ups in a row. So I'm kind of like working with those athletes now, putting together like a Google sheet, something they can do before and after class to kind of help get closer to those goals. So definitely want to continue my growth there. And then just in terms of like outside of that and even in the CrossFit world, kind of continue to see where my competitive career goes. I want to continue to, build upon these awesome relationships that I've made in the CrossFit space in the last year or so, being able, to talk, and connect with guys like Savon, Brian Friend, yourself, Barbell Spin, Hiller, all those guys, continue to see where that path kind of takes me in life. And who knows, man, I'm just super excited, to see where my relationship goes with, the new girlfriend. So all sorts of different goals, really good, positive things to look forward to. So I'm really excited about the upcoming 2024 year. Very, very hard couple years for myself, being head coach at a gym, to see myself being let go from that, kind of just being on this downward trajectory in terms of like career path. Where am I going to go from there? So it's been super encouraging for myself to see how I've kind of grown from that, come out of that, and now I'm going towards something even greater. So I'm just super excited to see where that road takes me, and I'm very optimistic on what 2024 has to bring.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know you should have said the girlfriend thing first.
Yeah,
Hopefully she doesn't hear that. No, just kidding.
she'll listen and she'll smile. She'll laugh.
So are you reading any books now, or is there anything that you're kind of like itching to read?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'm trying to get into more reading now. Actually, Amy, the owner of the gym, she recommended a book and gave a book to me to read about like building habits and culture. Um, and I need to start diving into that. But that's another thing that I want to start getting into. I want to be more nerdy. I want to get into more books.
Yeah. There's one book I'm reading right now. It's called The Success Principles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the guy that made Chicken Soup for the Soul, like that book that was
Oh
like
yeah.
in like what was it, the 90s or something like that popped up.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Savant's podcast, and he had what's his name? Tanner Shook, the guy from the Middle East. He's in the UAE or something. Anyway, so um he actually said like that book like changed his life. And so I was just like,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm like, I'm not reading anything right now, and so I bought that, and it's like I'm like 100 pages in right now, and
Mhm.
it's really good, really good.
I'll have to
So
check it out.
yeah, the only problem it's
What's it
like
called?
the success principles. I'll
Success.
send you a picture of it and stuff. But
Cool.
yeah, it's like 500 pages though.
Damn.
But
So
it's
it's
a
like the
quick,
Bible.
yeah, so it's a quick read. It's a kind of a quick read though. Like the chapters are like really short. It's not like, really long things, and it gives you like almost like homework to do, like write down your goals, or like write down this, like this is what you want to be as a person, like write like that stuff. So it's very like helpful, and it's like very detailed to like what the book expects you to do.
Nice.
So and then what is the other thing? I mean, we already know about like pretty much what people want to think you of as. And then yeah, is anybody that I can't talk, is there anything that you want to talk about, or say anything to the podcast?
Go sign up for the Open. I'm a really big believer that if we need, in terms of if you're in the CrossFit space and you want to do your part to help CrossFit grow, sign up for the Open. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of in that book. I feel like I see more and more people every year kind of fall into this category of like, my gym's going to do it anyway. Why do I need to sign up for the Open? Like, I don't need to see myself on the leaderboard. Like, we're doing the workouts anyway.
Yep.
I think that's a bad mindset to have, especially if you're someone that wants to see CrossFit as a brand grow. Because without the affiliates, the sport of CrossFit just does not happen. And I wish more the CrossFit athletes would acknowledge that, because without the affiliates, there is no CrossFit Games. So if you're listening to this, sign up for the Open. Encourage your friends at your affiliate. Sign up for the Open. Encourage your affiliate owner to kind of promote it more. I'm really hopeful that we can get this as like one of the biggest signups that they've had in the last 5 years, because signups has significantly decreased year by year. So hoping to just get that back on the upward trajectory, because I love CrossFit. I love the brand. As crazy as the drama as it's been going through, I'm still a big supporter of it, a big supporter of the games. And I want to see those athletes succeed and thrive. But the only way that ever happens is if we help grow the sport. And
Hmm.
how we grow the sport is by supporting the affiliates, and encouraging more people to sign up for the Open. So go
Yeah.
sign up for the Open. It's only $20. Damn it! Come on.
Yeah, and better media.
Yeah, and better media. Get some better media.
Well, where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about, F45, or, like long distance relationships, or,
Jesus, no. The question should be is who do I reach out to for advice? Oh, distance relationships. You can follow me on Instagram. Look, it's Pool Boy. It's real simple. I'm pretty sure I'm the only like pool boy that pops up.
I
So
I think so. Are you ever gonna
yeah.
change the icon, or are you just gonna keep it as that AI
I
thing?
thought about it. But it's kind of too cool. Unless I come up with a cooler looking AI icon, then yeah, I'm keeping it.
I think you should keep it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, cool, man. It's good having you. Good seeing you again.
Yeah.